You're now tuned in to Hough Nation Sports. Buckle up. Welcome in, folks, to another episode of Hough Nation Sports Timeout Convos, where we talk to legends, greats of the game, those who are doing stuff for sports in the state of South Carolina and nationwide, worldwide even. Stacey Hough here, your host, Hough Nation Sports Timeout Convos. And this very special episode is none other than new Hall of Fame inductee. Actually, the second Hall of Fame, we get to it. NFL 12-year veteran DWAYNE Harper. Welcome, DWAYNE, to the show, man. Glad to have you.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show, Stacey. Great to be here.
Listen, I've been acquainted with you for a while, man. I've been a fan of yours before you even knew me, and you had a great run, and now you're looking back on some things. We're going to talk about the whole thing, but right now, I know a few weeks ago you got inducted to the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame, and I know that was a thrill. Talk about that, and what are some things you're doing right now to keep yourself occupied on the other side of the great career?
Well, after retirement from football, I was trying to figure out what to do next. When you retire from football, you're still a young man.
Right.
So I ended up investing in a franchise called Massage Jimmy. So I have 3 locations: one at the village of Sand Hill, one in Augusta, Georgia, and one in Lexington, South Carolina. So I've been doing that for the last 15 years.
Wow, that's kept you busy, and life got a little more busy for you in May when you got that call and you went into the 2026 class for the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame, man, right here in downtown Columbia, South Carolina. What was that feeling like, knowing you were going in, and what was that night like as you walked across the stage to the podium and was inducted?
Well, it was a great feeling, and I think, I said in my speech, my mother, she was a news watching person. So every year they would have the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame, she would always say, like, when are they going to put you in, DWAYNE? And it was a crazy story, because when I got the call, my mother passed away 2 days later, but I was able to whisper in her ear. Matter of fact,
man.
I'm at her house now. I'm in Orangeburg. So I had these jerseys to give to some people today. So while I was in Orangeburg, but I ended up making me a little backdrop back here just for your show, Stacey. But
thank you, I appreciate it, man.
I was able to. It's my Seahawk, one of the Seahawks jerseys and Chargers jerseys. But I was able to whisper to my mother that I was going into the Hall of Fame, and like I said, when I told her that, she squeezed my hand.
Oh, brother!
I knew that she was proud of me, and and she was happy. And 2 days later, to be honest, she died.
Brother,
called on the 19th, and she died on the 21st.
Brother, you did something to me with that story. That's a beautiful, man, and I'm glad she got the experience. Nothing like a mother's love. She wanted it for you, and she got to hang on until you got to the fruition of your hard work. So I'm glad that happened, man. But that is touching, man. I'm glad you brought the jerseys out, man, and make sure you rest in peace, man. Make sure you got a guardian angel now, but you always had. She was on earth. Now she can see you everywhere you go. And the top of your career, before we walk it back to the very, very foundation of DWAYNE Harper becoming DWAYNE Harper, let me tell the folks who don't know: 12-year NFL career, over 500 tackles, 24 interceptions, long-time career with the Seattle Seahawks, where you were drafted in the 11th round, and then another several years starting for the Chargers and played in the Super Bowl 29. Lost to the 49ers, I do believe, but we don't care about the 49ers. We care about the Chargers on that one. We had to play with the great Junior Seau, and you had a long career, man. I noticed on your stats, man, you a durable dude, man. You weren't the biggest guy, but you played all 16 games a lot of seasons, man. That's impressive in a tough sport like that.
Yeah, I was fortunate and blessed to really have a healthy career up until my 11th year. I ended up fracturing the neck on probably a poor technique tackling. You know what I'm saying?
So you're a technician, because only a technician would say that.
Yeah, to be honest, but I was all about taking care of the body and studying the game and just trying to stay on the top of my game and play as long as I could play it. I had the opportunity to play a long time.
you got to the very height of the profession of football, and only a tiny percentile of people in the world get there. So let's walk it back. Let's go back to the very beginning.
Right.
Let's go back to the early days. You're an OW graduate. Even before that, even before you were a Bruin, young DeWayne Harper. When did young DeWayne Harper realize, you know what? I'm a little bit different kind of athlete than the rest of my classmates. I'm a little bit special out here with it. But whatever sport it was, what was the first thing to let you know you were a little bit set apart athletically?
Well, it started when I was probably like about 8 or 9. My parents bought me that a Dallas Cowboy, that one that came in that box. Hey, I grew up a Cowboys fan.
Okay, good.
I grew up a Cowboys fan. The household everybody was Cowboy fans, but my parents bought that uniform, that football uniform that it came in a little box.
I had it too.
A plastic helmet, little plastic shoulder pads, little jersey, and all that.
Picture that
go with it, and my parents bought that, and I ended up running around in the yard with that, but I ended up playing little league football, and I could do it all, and I was fortunate where my dad played not professional, he played football in high school and college, but everyone said he was good, so I had it in my blood.
Absolutely.
And I just went on and ended up going to high school, and my sophomore year I ended up making a varsity squad, and back then OW had we had a lot of ballers.
Yeah.
Back then at OW, and I ended up starting at free safety my sophomore year on varsity.
Really?
I was starting free safety, and had some interceptions, had some good plays, and played well for a sophomore. And then going in my junior year, I think we was playing Sumter, and our quarterback wasn't doing anything, and I had gone to quarterback camp with him and all that, and this guy, the guy wasn't, he wasn't doing anything. So
you put the cape on. You put the cape on.
Yeah, coach ended up putting me. I didn't want to play quarterback, but I love playing in the secondary.
Yeah.
And I ended up after that, my junior and senior year, I was a starting quarterback, and I could run the beer, and I did some things out there. Like, man, he's special. You know what I'm saying? Some of the coaches like, man, he could do it all. So from there, ended up getting a scholarship to South Carolina State, and I don't think I was one of South Carolina State top recruits coming into South Carolina State, and I had to go out there, and I guess I went with a chip with, hey, I'm better than these guys, these boys from Florida and Georgia, because they would go to Florida and Georgia, bring a lot of guys to South Carolina State, and for me, it was all about, hey, you know what, I got to show them that, hey, you know what, I can, I'm a baller, and with that story, I almost quit South Carolina. I almost quit playing at South Carolina State. I practiced the entire preseason with the first string up until the first game. They was going to play Furman in 1984, and all the boys thought I was on the traveling squad, and there was a list. They would do a roll call of everybody that was traveling, and DWAYNE Harper wasn't called. And it was a shock. You
didn't make the travel squad, the first squad, brother?
Nah, didn't make the traveling squad. And what's crazy was, my boys was kind of like joning me and joking. Situations like, man, they don't need you, Hart. So they can't. We ended up getting our butts kicked in Furman, up in Greenville. Yeah, it's Furman. Came back. They had me, I ended up not quitting. End up still practicing with first team, and I end up starting the second game of the season. The second game of the season, we played Delaware State in Philadelphia. We played them in Philadelphia, and they had a guy who was tough. Doesn't get a lot of publicity, a lot of props, but John Taylor.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He was really underrated in the NFL.
Yeah, JT was tough. So I ended up starting against him my freshman year. He was a senior.
He was the guy across from Rice. A lot of people didn't know he was the guy across from Jerry Rice. He put up some.
Yeah. But he was. I tell people JT could do anything. He could play outside, inside, run kickoffs back. He could do it all. This guy was. he was something. He was special. But I ended up starting against that game. I had 2 interceptions and maybe like 3 pass breakups.
Yeah.
And after that, nothing was never said about DWAYNE HARPER starting at South Carolina State.
And look, and you got it out the mud for real, because they put you in the mud the first week.
They did.
And listen, I don't want to throw no coach under the bus, but if you go from not traveling to starting with 2 interceptions the second week, sounds like a mistake might have been made the first week, right?
Was everyone, I asked Coach P what was the reason, because he was the defensive coordinator at the time.
Yeah.
So like, why didn't I make the traveling squad? But then the second game of the season, I'm your starting cornerback. I'm your starting left cornerback. So, but it all worked out well for me, and I had, ended up having a good career at South Carolina State.
No doubt. And I want to pause right there, man, and ask you, you're OW, Orangeburg native, OW high school. How tough was it, the decision to commit to South Carolina in the first place? How tough was it?
Well, to be honest, I didn't have many scholarships. I didn't have a lot of scholarships coming out.
Really?
So only like 155, 60, 160 pound DB, but I could play. I had all the tools to play, but everybody's always looking for that guy with size and
the
all
tape
that.
measure, man.
And like I told someone in an interview, I've always been like that unsung, hero. I was an unsung player one year for the Chargers. Where I had a hell of a season. I think my second year in San Diego, I had a good year my first year, but my second season, and I was chosen by the NFL as the unsung player for the San Diego Chargers. So
wow. So that's been a theme in your career.
Oh yeah, it's been a theme. Everyone's always said, like, man, how did they draft you in the 11th round? And you played, you didn't just play, you started,
dude.
Because I started. A lot of people. I started 3 games. We had a guy who got suspended. Who got suspended the first game of the season when, I think in 1988, when Elway, they got their butts kicked by the Redskins, and
bad. Yep.
I ended up starting 3 games my rookie season.
Really?
Yeah. But I started 3 games my rookie season for the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah.
Dude, stop right there. I want to go back, because let's walk up. Let's recap. So you were under recruited. We had to be under recruited because you're starting your second game. So you're under recruited. It was a prove 'em attitude. You did it there. Had a great career at State. And I want to go back. You kind of went by. Young cats don't understand. You were drafted in the 11th round. They don't even have that round anymore.
Right.
And you were an 11th round draft pick. And to go to camp, tell the folks how you treated as an 11th round pick at camp as opposed to a first round pick at camp.
Well, the fortunate thing, I had a good friend, another Bulldog, Edwin Bailey, was out there.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Edwin took me under his wings, and just showed me, how to be, always taught me how to be a pro and how to carry yourselves, and and things worked out. And then there was another guy who went out there with me also, and he was drafted before me. He only played, I think, 2 years. Was a guy named Robert Tyler.
Okay.
Robert was from Wagner. He was a tight end, and Robert was drafted in like the 6th round or 7th round, something like that. And for me, I tell people, I went up against the best, one of the best to play the game, and that was a guy named Steve Largent.
Oh man, Steve Largent. Listen, he was my favorite wide receiver because he was smaller, kind of smallish. But I love Steve Largent. In the backyard, I was Steve Largent sometimes. That was my guy.
So I went against Steve, and I think one day in practice, Steve was one of the guys who hosted Bible study. But one day in practice, I was, putting the jam on him, and you can put your hands on guys.
Give him that work. You give him some work.
Right. I was getting, and out of nowhere, Steve says some words that he didn't say in Bible study. And but afterwards he told me, he said, man, he said, DWAYNE, you know what? Keep working like that, and you're gonna make this squad. You're gonna make this team. Wow. So to hear that from someone like Steve meant a lot to me, and it was just, I was fortunate to just have some good people around me, like I say, like Edwin, and but I was the kind of guy, hey, you know what? I got to show you that I can play. I'm just as good as these guys, because there was a guy from Ohio State a guy named Ray Jackson. He was a defensive back. He was drafted before me.
I remember him.
They ended up cutting him, you know? So
Yeah.
me, I guess I like being that underdog and just going in there and surprising guys and surprising people and turning heads, you know?
Man, now listen, DWAYNE HARPER, folks, just the guy right here, you outworked other people's expectations, their mistakes. You outworked it. And
that's what
that's
it's
a lesson.
about when you want to play on this level.
Yeah, exactly. And you did that, man. And before we finish our timeout convo, I want you to give that message to our young folks. But walk me through a little bit. So you had a great run with Seattle, I think 6 years there, 5, 6 years there, and then
6 years, yeah.
6 years, and then you get traded to the Chargers.
I went as a free agent.
Oh, my bad. Okay, you go to free. So you,
yeah,
so that tells me something. That tells me it was a better.
Well, yeah, Seattle, you know, they wanted me to stay, but they weren't putting the right ink on the paper. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so Seattle. I mean, San Diego wanted me. Cincinnati, the Jets, and but I chose California. Went to San Diego, and
beautiful weather.
It worked out great for me, you know, because I ended up playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
my first year.
And that's where I want to go next, right there. So for those, like I mentioned earlier, you get to the NFL's the highest percentile for athletes, you know, football players. Being a starter is another separation of low percentile chance, right?
Right.
Then, you know, and then now that you start all 16 games. I looked at, you know, of course I studied what you did. It's very impressive, but to play in the Super Bowl is another. Now you're in the other rare era. NFL players, a lot of great ones never touched that game. The biggest day of the year in the NFL, the biggest day on the planet for sports, pretty much. How did that feel like for the Chargers playing against in Super Bowl 29? What was that feeling like?
Man, it was unbelievable. It was almost like, you know, it was like you couldn't think, like, you know, when it come flying back from Pittsburgh, because we beat Pittsburgh in a AFC Championship game, and you know, just flying back, it just didn't seem so surreal. It just didn't feel right. But it didn't hit me, I think, until I landed, like, dang, I'm about to play in the Super Bowl. I'm going to be playing in the Super Bowl. So I started calling people from the plane. I didn't care, like, when the airplanes had phones, you know, like,
yeah.
I'm playing and say, hey, Mom, I'm going to say, hey, Dad, I'm going to the Super Bowl. So, you know, it was just crazy that my first year in San Diego and playing in the Super Bowl, and like you said, you know, it's like Steve Largent. Never got that out of me. I know a lot of Hall of Famers and all the guys that are Hall of Famers just never got that opportunity. But you know, I thank God that I did. Yeah, I did get that opportunity to play in that game.
Well, one more question about it too, like, because I know it didn't go out, it didn't go well. San Francisco kind of came downhill on y'all. San Francisco interrupted, which should have been a 4-peat for my Cowboys. We went 3 out of 4 of that, but y'all were there. We had to sit down and watch one. So this is like 94, 95, 94. Played in 95.
Played in 95, 94 season.
94 season. So when you first ran on that field and you saw those 80, 90,000, 100,000 people out there, and you coming from Orangeburg, what was the feeling that washed over you? Like this is it. This is the pinnacle.
Well, by then, you know, you used to the 80 or 90,000.
By that point, right.
Yeah, by that point, but it was more, I think, just the hype of it. They really, I mean, they hype it to another level where, you know, once the game started, it's just another game. Even though things move faster, because, you know, things are fast. Like I tell people, guys, things are faster in preseason. Then regular season, it becomes even faster.
Right.
Once you get into playoffs, it's fast. That Super Bowl, it's like everything was just moving very fast. But you know, it was just, I think, more just a hype. You just couldn't get, you know. I think Diana Ross was there. She did the national anthem. She did the halftime show. But you know, you got, as a player, I just didn't get caught up in that. Where thinking about that, you know, it's just, hey, we got to run out and hopefully, you know, do what we got to do, you know, to try to win. And things didn't turn out that way, though.
But he make it to that game. That had to be heady stuff. I can only imagine. People like me can only, you know, hear your stories and be like, "Wow, I just can only," you know what I'm saying? I can hear you just now. You're still excited about it because it's a once in a lifetime thing for most people. Some people no time in a lifetime. I just get to watch. I get excited watching it. You on the field. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I tell guys, oh man, I tell guys, I say, look, man, if you when you had that opportunity, take advantage of it, because you know how many guys. I guess sometimes as players you take it for granted,
Yeah.
but you don't realize how blessed you are because there's so many, I guess, grown men. If they can put that uniform on for if they can run on that field one time, they may not even want to play.
Just be out there. Just be out there.
If I could run out with the team, just run out. You know what I'm saying? So
brother, it's just like that.
A blessing to put that uniform on and and just to come out in one of those stadiums.
I want to take time out for a moment to thank the sponsors that make it all happen here at Hough Nation Sports. I want to thank Rockamoss and rockamoss.com. Fuel your glow from the sea below. Go to rockamoss.com for all of your CMOS needs. Of course, Alpha Insurance Solutions, LLC, for all your insurance needs. Reach them at 803-427-1327. Then, when it comes to real estate, for all your home buying and selling needs, it is Karen Alexander and her outstanding staff at SM Realty and Associates, LLC. The number 803-445-7185. The email KarenAlexander773@gmail.com. Once again, for all your home buying and selling needs, SM Realty and Associates, LLC. And want to thank GFHRsports.com. And NIL attorney can help you with all your NIL questions and concerns. Go to the website GFHRsports.com when it comes to NIL. And now, back to the episode.
You're absolutely right, DWAYNE. And again, props to you for getting there and coming from and back, because you battled every step of your career. So at that point, I'm looking at your career. So that's got to be a pinnacle moment. And you finish your career with the Lions, but stay right there. That Super Bowl has to be one of those moments. But if I ask you to give me your top 2 or 3 moments of your career that when you think back as a retiree now, long time retired, great businessman, husband, father, what are the first memories that come to your mind about your career that really made an impact on you? I know the Super Bowl is probably one of them.
The Super Bowl was big, but I guess it would probably be big plays, and there's 2 that really that sticks out. I was playing on Monday Night Football, and I think this is my rookie season, and they had the Raiders. They was playing the Raiders on Monday Night Football, and Tim, he was supposed to be this guy. He wasn't supposed. He's this guy out of Notre Dame, and
from
the Heisman, first round pick, and all that, and he broke loose on he could run kick, do the kickoff.
That was his thing. Yeah.
And he broke loose on a kickoff, and he was gone. And I said it in my speech, I didn't walk him down from an angle. I walked him down from behind, and he was gone. He was gone. And I caught him on the 3-yard line.
You just got him right there.
I caught him on the 3. Yeah, you can go. I walked him on the 3-yard line. This is my rookie season, '88, and that was a big moment on Monday Night Football.
That's huge.
That was one. Then probably the second one was I was playing against. We were playing the Raiders again, and I guess everything's been against the Raiders. I had 3 interceptions on Monday night against Raiders.
What? 3?
Yeah, I had 3 in 90. It was a 95 season. I had 3 interceptions on Monday night against the Raiders.
Good stuff, man.
So everything was good. And then I guess one game I got a touchdown caught on me, and I think it was it was Gall. I think it was Willie Gall, and they ran all the way across the field, and I'm covered. You can't run with an Olympian, but
he was an Olympic speeder. Willie Gall was very fast.
Right. But then they came back at me again on a post play to Willie. But before that, when I came to the sideline, my boy Bailey said, "Man, you're home. You okay? You good?" I said, "Man, don't worry about it." I told him, this is what I told him. I said, "Don't worry about me." I said, "I'm gonna get mine." I said, I'm gonna get mine. And sure enough, they came back with a post play. Me and Willie flying down the sideline. Flying down the middle of the field on a post. And I saw it coming. And I went up over Willie's head. And got
the thing.
It was the photo of the week, and it was the play of the week for the Seahawks, and we ended up winning the game.
Good stuff, boy. That's heady stuff, brother. Those are memories you deserve to have and hold on to forever, man. Willie Gall was a track He was a fast. He had more speed than he had hands, but he could fly.
Yeah, but yeah, the Raiders. Well, the Raiders was a track team. Everybody, you know, they had Sam Grady.
Sure did. Yeah, I remember that team.
They had everybody on that team that could just run.
So listen, you just called Timeout Convos. So the great DWAYNE HARPER, OW legend, South Carolina State legend, NFL 12-year veteran, South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame. By the way, 1998 South Carolina State Hall of Fame, I believe.
Right. When it's South Carolina State Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Yeah. So this timeout conversation, so I'm gonna call the timeout right here, timeout. So we're gonna make it a full timeout and timeout. So off the field, what's a hobby? What's something that interests you that might surprise people, or something that people might be little known about you away from football? We know you have the businesses. What's something you like to do to get away and just that you're good at, that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, believe it or not, Paul, I own some rental property.
Okay.
And believe it or not, I grew up painting houses. That was my summer job from 14 to 20 until I went to the NFL.
Painting houses.
Painting houses. That was my job. I did all the trim work.
Really?
Yeah, I did all the trim work. So what I do now is, believe it or not, I paint all my rental properties, and I have a good buddy named Michael Thompson. He has his own business, but
okay.
But sometimes he does decks.
Okay.
So sometimes if he said, "Hey, Harp man, I got somebody who want a room painted,"
and
they say, "You want the gig, Harp?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not doing anything." But painting relaxes me.
Really?
Helps me think about things that I need to get done. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah. I'm focused. So if I can finish this room, I can go ahead and finish what I really need to be doing. So sometimes I go in and I'll paint someone's room, a house.
That's good stuff.
I don't do the outdoor outside. I grew up doing outside.
Okay.
But like a room, anything like that.
Man, I'm gonna have some work for you, man. Dude, I never saw that one coming, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you ask me what did I do? I mean, but it gives, it relaxes me, when I can do things, hang a ceiling fan or anything like that. It definitely
good with the hands. You like to work with your hands. That's good stuff, brother.
Exactly, yeah.
Man, so with that, one last thing on the timeout part before we get back to your career and your great memories of your career, but what's your musical taste? What's your vibe when you listen to music?
I'm an Earth, Wind, and Fire guy. I go see
My
Earth,
wife too, man.
I go see Earth, Wind, and Fire every year. I don't care where they are. You know what? I'm going to see one of their concerts in that year.
Listen, my wife loves them, but she don't want to go see them because Maurice White is departed. She don't want to go see them because Maurice White. She loves them, but she says she don't want to see them without Maurice White.
Tell her she's not a true Earth, Wind, and Fire fan.
Right, because Philip Bailey did his thing too, right?
Exactly, and he's still doing his thing.
I'm trying to tell her that, man. Maybe I get her to a show, man. But
yeah, man. Hey, I go see. I saw them in. I saw them somewhere. Where did we see them? They were in Simpsonville this year.
Outside of Greenville, okay.
Yeah. So they were there this year. So yeah. So I go every year.
We about the same age. You might have got me by a year, but us growing up, Earth, Wind, and Fire was a soundtrack, right? We grew up with that, and even into college, they were around, and it was so soulful, man. They captured a lot of our youth, man. So I do. Earth, Wind, and Fire means a lot to me as well.
They said their words meant something. I just spoke to a group for this company called AMI. So it's a company. It helps youth.
I'm familiar with them.
AMI. Yeah, and I just told them. I told the kids, I said, hey, Google Earth, Wind, and Fire. I said, one thing I want to leave you with, for you to accomplish your goal or to fulfill your dream is you got to keep your head to the sky. I said, listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire. I said, listen to Earth, Wind. I said, you Google everything else, Google that. I said, and read the words and listen to the words. I said, they're telling you something that's going to make you feel that you can do anything.
My late grandfather was a Baptist minister. As the old minister said, that'll preach.
Yeah,
that's a good word right there. That's a good word. And that's why it lasts the tens of time, because those words still mean something today. And I'm glad that's good. With your career being a good way longer than the average career, you had a lot of great memories. But what are some of the things you take away? You can use high school, college, and/or pro. What are some of the things you look back and say the football that you got out of football that helped you in life?
I think probably just being dedicated. If you're gonna fulfill a dream or just do a job, just do a job. Do it to the best of your ability. Do your best. That's all. That's all we can ask. From anyone. Just do your best and put the work in, and you can accomplish anything. I think football has done so much. Learn to work with others. Learning to push others, learning to, I think, to give back, to be able to help others, teach you to help others. And I think that's big. If I can give someone the right information to help them accomplish their dream, I'm all about it. And that's what I tell all my employees. Hey, when you come interview, if you really want to work here at Massage Envy, I'm going to give you an opportunity. And I believe if you can give someone an opportunity who really wants that opportunity and they're willing to work for it, hey, you know what? I'm all about it.
Well, good stuff, man. Last couple of questions. We out of here, man. So we talked about you're a proud state alum, went to the Hall of Fame there. Do you ever get back to watching the South Carolina State games?
Oh yes, yeah. I usually see 2 or 3 games every year.
Are you pleased with this past season?
It's home. For me, it's home. So. And I basically grew up on that campus also, So yeah, South Carolina State, love going back, and they're doing a great job over there, with the program, and we're back on top again.
Congratulations again to your alma mater, you and all your folks down there. Mr. Bill Hamilton's like an uncle to me. Mr. Hamilton played high school with my dad.
Right.
Small world. Yeah. So last thing. You take us out with this answer to this question. How do you want your career? Sum up your career. How do you want your career to be remembered? You already got the accolades. You got the 12 years is a long time. You made a good living, a great living. You've moved on and had a great life after football. But you're in 2 Hall of Fames at least that I know of. So, but how does DWAYNE and Harper, in his words, say that you want your career to be summed up?
I think for me, I want my career to be summed up and say, hey, you know what? DeWayne Harper, he put in the work to get things done, to fulfill his dream. DeWayne put in the work. He ran Bulldog Stadium at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in July to fulfill that dream of playing on the highest level, and that's the NFL,
Good stuff, man. I appreciate you, DWAYNE, taking some time out. DeWayne Harper, 12-year NFL veteran, recent inductee in May 2026 class of the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame. And man, great businessman, Massage Envy, locations all around. They're all over the place. One right here in Sand Hills by me. DeWayne, I appreciate all you're doing in the community, man, and what you're doing. I know I'll be seeing you around, man. Thanks for sharing some time with me on Timeout Convos on Hough Nation Sports.
Okay, so hey, thanks for having me. And anytime, brothers.
I appreciate you, my man.
All right.